All right, so today let's talk about the whole idea that Jesus was fun to be with. This one was Gabby Garlitz messaged me and said that she recently went to Sight and Sound and saw their production of Jesus, which I saw too, and it was amazing. She said it was striking to her just how joyful Jesus was. He had a sparkle in his eyes and a glint and a squint of knowing and mischief and a depth of love that was captivating and surprising to people. I mean, how else could he look Matthew the tax collector in the face and with one sentence and a look, follow me. And he leaves everything and follows him. Why? Because there's something in those eyes, man. I'm telling you that Matthew, I think, in those eyes, in that moment, for the first time in his entire life, he felt seen, he felt known, he felt loved, and it was so captivating. Whatever was going on in Jesus' soul, right? The eyes are the window to the soul. Whatever was going on in Jesus' soul that Matthew saw made him say, this is the thing I've been looking for my whole life. Hebrews 1:9, talking explicitly about Jesus, says, you love justice and hate evil. Therefore, God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness more than any of your companions. Interpreting here for you, Jesus was more joyful than anyone else. Jesus was the most joyful person on the planet. Prostitutes and tax collectors wanted to be with Jesus. Luke 15 starts by saying, now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus, but the Pharisees and teachers of the law were muttering, oh, he welcomes sinners and eats with them. Pastors didn't like Jesus, but sinners who didn't like church like Jesus. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't like church, you might be the kind of person who would really like Jesus. That's really weird. The Pharisees and Sadducees, the religious leaders, the good guys, the Bible guys, right? The Pharisees on the conservative political spectrum, the Sadducees on the liberal political spectrum, both of them, though very Bible-based, both hated Jesus. Interesting, right? The theological police, what we would consider the good guys, always had a problem with Jesus. Kids loved Jesus most of all. They were crowding around Jesus, wanting to get on his lap, and the parents were bringing him, and the disciples were just annoyed because kids, I mean, have you ever been annoyed in church at kids? Kids are noisy, disruptive. I have. I've been the grumpy disciple saying, can someone make the kids shut up? Can we just put them in kids' church? Can we put them in timeout? Can we put them in something? Can we give them a skip? Can we give them a game so that we can calm down and feel the holy hush of the Lord? And Jesus goes, your church services are so dang boring, Tim. How about I just sit on the ground and play with these kids for a while? Let these kids come to me and stop hindering them. Who are kids going to want to hang out with? Kids aren't going to want to hang out with some angry, grumpy rules person. They're going to want to hang out with somebody who's happy and funny. Who are the prostitutes and tax collectors going to want to hang out with? They're going to want to hang out with somebody who's joyful and happy. Listen, all of us want to hang out with people who like us. Jesus made tax collectors and sinners feel liked and loved, because it's God's kindness that leads us to repentance. And what they were experiencing from the Pharisees was grumpy judgment. What they were experiencing from Jesus was happy, joyful acceptance and mercy. And yet something about being around him made people want to separate from their sin and get more of what he had to give them. They found joy in Jesus that was fun to be with, and they said, forget sin, I'm going with this guy. But Jesus said the Pharisees with all their rules, he said when they were done with all their rules and their grumpiness and their hard work for God, the people turned out twice as much sons of hell as when they started. Yeah, Jesus was joyful. Yeah, Jesus was happy. It's why the sinners liked him. It's why the kids liked him. And quite frankly, it's why you like him.